Okay, guys, this is page 3 of 25. I said I was going to do one a day. This is a real good one. This is, you really should do this test every once in a while. It really tells you what your cell is doing, especially after you cleaned it. But you can really see what it's doing, and I'm going to tell you what it's trying to tell you. All right, remember on page 2 I told you the cell has two polarities, the left side and the right side. Well, this is going to be testing two polarities once you do it. Okay, you check voltage and amperage on both polarities. All right, now when your salt system is on and been on for a while, what you can do is there's a little button right here. It tells you a little information, okay? Wish they would show you the little black button. It's a little tiny black button. If you look quickly, you miss it, all right? But anyway, to display voltage reading, press the diagnosis button twice, okay? And what it's going to do, it's telling you the transformer voltage. If you're reading in the 30s, 30, 32, somewhere around there, give it a little bit longer, especially if you turned it off. It takes about 30 seconds for you'll hear that magic relay click. But if it's been on a while and you're reading in the 30s, you push that button one more time, more than likely this is going to read 0. You got major problems if you see this at the 30s and this at 0. Okay, you're not generating any chlorine. So you either got a bad board, the cell's not plugged in all the way. There is a problem somewhere. Okay, so what we do now, we want to change polarity. Say that 3 times. Polarities. Mark down this 23.7 and this 6.25. All right, to change the polarities. All right, here's your main switch. It should be on auto. Turn it on off. Wait a second and turn it back on auto. Now, don't right away start pushing this button and get all upset. It takes about 30 seconds for that relay to click on before you start seeing voltage drop. I would wait about 2 minutes for the cell to stabilize. Alright, check it, push it twice, and you should be real close to this 23.7. Now don't get upset if it's not, because I'm going to explain this to you. And you should be real close to 6.25. Here's your ranges on amperage. The reason why the amperages change is how much salt you have. Okay? So this would be low. Well, your salt is okay, but I would again check it with your meter. I told you to buy a meter, and this would be on the high side. This is a T15. One little note, we'll get into this. I don't care what size pool or spa you're doing, I would always buy a T15. I would not buy a T3 or a T5 or a T9. I would buy a T15. Because when you have to, say if you bought a T3 and you find out you're too small, you start running that cell at 100%, you're not going to get no 3 years out of it. All right? You're lucky if you get a year and a half. So that's why I like the T15s, because if you on a T3 have to run it at 100%, on a T15 maybe you got to run it only on 10 or 15%. So that's a big difference. Remember what I told you. The cell is split in half. This side runs for 2 hours, and this side flips over and runs for 2 hours. So if your argument's sake at 50%, I always use 50% because it's easy for me, okay, to figure out. This side will run for an hour, and this side will run for an hour. If you're on a T3 cell and you're running 100%, you're running 2 hours and 2 hours. It's constantly running. That cell's going to need cleaning a lot more. Probably at least once a month you need to check it. I would check a cell once a month anyway. They're very costly. I would maintain them, or at least wash them out, dip them in low acid, make sure they're clean. Now, let's talk about, this will help you diagnose a cell if you're having a left side or a right hand side bad cell. Remember I talked a little bit about cleaning, and after the third time if you start bubbling, okay, the titanium plates are starting to show. And this is an excellent way to tell how bad you are. What you want to do is you want to be running for a while and you want to mark down whatever number this is. And you're going to mark down whatever this number is. Then you're going to flop the sides, okay? So you're going to go from auto to off, wait a second, back to auto. You're going to wait approximately 2 minutes. If this is 3/4 of an amp, well, this is more, say if this is 7.00 or 7.25, and your other side, you don't know what side, was 6.25, you have a bad cell. Anything over 3/4 of an amp, you have a bad cell. You need to replace it. So, again, if you are at 6.25 and you flip it and you wait and everything's stabilized and you're at a 7 or a higher, you need a new cell. You got either the left side or the right side starting to go. Okay? This is a very good test. Again, this is a very good test after you wash it, and after the third time she still keeps bubbling. Do this test and they'll start showing. If you're on the first one you did was 6.25 and then you're 6.95, you're real close to 3/4 of amp. You better get ready to spend some money on a new cell. Again, I would buy a T15. If you have a T3, I would buy a T15. But keep in mind, now, on the new ones, we'll get in this, if you change any of these cells, you have to change the board, what cell you got, and we'll get into that. Remember I tell you keep your manual, okay? Your manual will tell you how to change it, but another page or two, a couple of pages, it'll tell you how to change this. If you change out a cell and say, you know, Harvey was right, I got a T5, and I better put in a T15. Well, in a little bit, I'll show you how to change this system to tell that you got now a T15, okay, instead of a T3 or T5 or T9, okay. Would always spend the extra money on a T15, even as argument's sake if you have a 10,000 gallon pool, because you don't run it that much. Alright guys, this is a very important page. You can read it, I know, just listen to it over and over. It's very hard, but after a while you'll get to like this button. You can play with that button. I think the first one is your temperature. You can check to see if your we'll get into that too, will check your temperature, see if your temperature probe is going bad. If it's going bad, you're going to need a new cell anyway. I think once is temperature, twice is for voltage, 3 times is for amperage, 4 times, it's been too long. It's been too long since I did it. It's been since a year ago. So I just don't do it by memory. I just keep on pushing that button in it. And that's how I check the systems out real quick before I open it up. But this is a very important page. This one I would bookmark, and again, I would ask Haywood for the manual. Okay? Very, very important page. I hope you understand it. Remember, the cell has two sides, the left side and the right side, and this is checking out the left side and right side and making sure if this reads 0 and this reads in the 30s or 32s, you're not generating anything. You need to start, make sure the plug is plugged in right. Naturally you got power because you got this on, but you got a problem. You need to address it right away. We'll get into that, and I think in the next page, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Keep you in suspense. But guys, take care. This is a very important page to remember. Again, you take care of yourselves and have a great summer. And don't forget, once a week, keep in mind, superchlorinate. Chlorine is your friend. Don't let anybody else tell you chlorine's not your friend. Chlorine is your friend. Helps kill bacteria. Does not like cheap bathing suits. But trust me, I'd rather have a undyed bathing suit than sucking in water that has full of bacteria. I made, custom made, you can look up my other YouTubes. I custom made myself a 250-gallon spa. I went to Rec Warehouse and I just bought a shell, and I did all the jets myself, and I got a Pentair variable speed pump to it, a Stay Right heater, 200,000 gallon heater, AQUA RITE controller, I got a Pentair cell, and I keep my hot tub chlorine level in about the 9s. Okay? I check my chemistry on my hot tub once a day. Keep in mind, and you'll get a lot of people saying this, and it's true, if on these salt systems, it will increase your pH. Okay? Especially after you superchlorinate. But don't let that scare you. Adjusting pH is very easy to do. If you superchlorinate on a pool, I would check my chemistry. Well, it depends if it was heavily used. I would check my chemistry twice or 3 times a week, especially if I have a heater on it. I'll check it every day. My hot tub, if I have a heater swung to a hot tub, I check my chemistry every day. Save yourself a lot of time. Alright guys, take care. This is page 3 of 25. Take care.